We will start in just 1 minute. Pardon as I'm finishing up my dinner, but we'll be going in just a moment. Okay, here we go. Just a second, get my video going. All right, well, welcome to Class 5B. This is officially the last class of the rotation, although you may not be done. You may still have some classes to go, and that's perfectly fine. But for those of you who've been with me since 1A, congrats. You are graduating tonight. So make sure that you've submitted all the different vouchers so that we can for sure give you the points and earn everything that you've earned. But then also remember that completing new consultant training classes is part of the original new consultant voucher. And you get a lot of points for getting them done. And that's because this is so important. Going through these classes
and completing all of them will make a huge difference and give you such a ground to stand on. So that's just a couple reminders for you. Tonight, what we're going to do is wrap up the series with some more mind stuff. So some knowledge and some skills, and it's a really practical class that I just love talking about. So let's jump right in. The first thing, if you want to grab the document that's titled, let me see, resources available. Open up resources available, and I want to talk with you as you move forward. What are the resources available to you as you build your business, as you grow, as you take steps, so that you never feel at a loss for where to go? And as you've learned, I hope by now, there are so many resources available for Mary Kay girls. And it's really overwhelming how much there is for you. So first and foremost, I want to remind you that the Inspire office is here for you. Myself and Karina, the unit manager, and even my mom, Sherry, are all available to serve and support you. And as you've seen, we're very proactive, but we also need to know that you are reaching out as well. And so while we have, a plan to reach out to people, the way that we know who to work with is who's reaching out to us, who's contacting us, who's texting, who's calling, who's emailing. So please, please, don't be afraid. Don't think, oh, they're busy, there's a lot of people. No, we work with those who make themselves known. That's the people that we spend the most time with, because we realize that you're hungry and that you have a desire. So utilize our office as a resource. But then beyond that, let's take a look at this document. Other resources available are MaryKayInTouch.com. If you go to Mary Kay in Touch, of course, the resources there are all kinds, but specifically when it comes to building your business, the education tab on there is huge. It has underneath it Silver Wings, which is videos and training sessions on everything from money management to emotional management to selling to team building, like all of it, people skills. So you can take modules of that and watch videos and learn from other people in Mary Kay. Next is classic audio. This was something that I latched onto when I was coming up as a red jacket, was just watching listening to recordings of top leaders in Mary Kay and learning from them and hearing their stories and just being inspired. So I highly recommend the classic audio section under the education tab. And then there's also the power class of the month. And this is timely info. So every month they do about an hour recording of something like right now for your Mary Kay business, things that are important, tips, promotions. So definitely take time to watch that each month so you can be up to date with the latest ideas of how to grow your business. From there, the next resource is jessmitchell.org. That is our unit webpage, and I'm sure you've found it by now, but check out the training center. Check out the new consultants page. Those are both chock full of information and documents and support. And you don't need all of it right now, but as you feel like, I could use such and such, go check there, and you may just find the document or the training material that you were looking for. Next is the success meeting. We meet locally here in Texas every single month to get together and support one another. We do hands-on training, product knowledge, and then if you don't live local, you can meet with girls local to you. So definitely take advantage of those meetings. Be sure to show up and come, and that way you can gain the most out of the support avenue of our team and the in-person training. And then Mary Kay corporate events are also a huge asset that you can grow in. The career conference, seminar, and leadership, which leadership is only for sales directors, but career conference and seminar are every single year in the spring and in the summer. We get to go and grow. And sometimes it's not about what you need to learn, but it's about being exposed to our company and being exposed to awesome women, or hearing a story that stirs your heart, or seeing a little bit of a bigger picture of how our company is making a difference in this world. So it's an amazing, amazing opportunity to go to those events. Then we also do more local ones in January and in the fall, which are short, 24 to 48 hour things where you just get to kind of jump into the Mary Kay world for a day. And those are a lot of fun. And then podcasts, those are also tremendous resources you can take advantage of. EntreLeadership by Dave Ramsey is one of my favorites. This Is Your Life by Michael Hyatt, very practical, good stuff podcast. So those are resources just to be reminded of that are available that you can access all the time to help you grow and help you learn. Then go to the next page, and this is a list of the apps that I use for my business, and it explains what each one is for. YNAB is for tracking my money, and we cover that in class 1, so you've heard about that. There's a podcast app, so I can listen to those podcasts I was talking about. Kindle, which is a way I can read on my phone, so I do get in person like books, but sometimes I'll choose to download it on my phone so that I can read it out and about or have something when I'm, killing 5 minutes at the doctor's office. Voxer, you have heard about as well for communication purposes. Red Stamp, we've talked about. the Mile IQ. Zoom, which is a way that we do weekly and monthly video trainings. I think that yes, we're a virtual world, and no, we don't all live in the same vicinity, but there's something about eye-to-eye contact that is very special and very important. And so Zoom, I choose to use, I pay that so that we can use it, so that we can see one another. So anytime that we're doing a conference on Zoom, I want to encourage you to do the video part. You can download the app, and then it's as simple as clicking on it on your phone and it's right there, or you can use it on your laptop and it's easy peasy. And I know that won't always be possible, but if possible, please do jump on the video part. We're not going to critique your makeup or anything like that. We just want to see you. We want to have that eye-to-eye connection. Evernote, great place to take notes. Actually, I teach the new consultant classes out of Evernote. That's where all my notes are, and they're accessible on my phone, on my iPad, and on my computer. So everything is shared, and then when I go to conferences, I record the trainings audio-wise onto Evernote. So again, I can access them everywhere. And then Pic Collage, that's just a fun one where if you want to advertise some products or celebrate a victory in your business, you can, put pictures together, make it look cute. So those are just the apps that have served me well in my business that I wanted to make sure you had in one place so that you could see everything that I utilize and take advantage of those for yourself. So those are the resources available. Be sure to utilize those things. Go back, review. Mary Kay is a learned skill. You don't get everything completely perfect that first time around. So going back through, you get a good chance to dig a little deeper and to grow a little bit more and to be reminded of things. So feel free to utilize that. But now what we want to talk about as resources is time management, because those apps and those resources are helpful for you so you aren't wasting time, scrounging for information. But time is our most precious commodity, is it not? And we can't get more time. We just have the amount that is given us, 24 hours in a day, and it can be one of the biggest challenges that women work through in their Mary Kay business. Aside from the emotions, which you talked about last week, time is a big one. And so if you would open up the time management document, I want to work through this one with you. And the key thought that I want you to remember and just burn into your brain is what you don't need. At the top of that document on time management, what you don't need. What you don't need is a certain amount of time in order to succeed in Mary Kay. There is not a magical amount that everyone has to have. There's just not. So remember that. You don't have to be a single mom. You don't have to be working full time. You don't have to be there isn't a certain amount of time. What you do need is a couple other things. And it's really more than the amount of time, it's the consistency of your efforts that makes all the difference. It's so much harder to start and then stop and then start and then stop and take a step and then take a month off and then take a step and that's hard. That's when it feels overwhelming and feels really difficult because you're constantly having to restart and recalibrate yourself and learn. Whereas what you actually need that makes this so easy is, number one, an ability to focus. An ability to focus. So in the time that you have to do your Mary Kay, 1 hour a week, 10 hours a week, whatever it may be, to do your Mary Kay in that time frame, and not to be trying to do it all the time, to constantly be thinking, oh, I should do a Mary Kay, I should be doing Mary Kay. Yeah, sure. But if you decide when your Mary Kay time is for that day or for that week or for that month, just do it in that time slot that you've decided on. Don't try to, also do laundry and also do this, focus in and get it done and move on and turn it off. You don't need to be always adding Mary Kay into your life and your thoughts. Try to be able to focus in that window. The second thing you need is the ability to protect time. And this is something you'll learn and you get better at, but overall, what I notice is that having a time that you set aside for your Mary Kay work that you know, that your husband knows, is so, so helpful. Because again, then you're not running feeling guilty all the time that you haven't done it. You actually get something accomplished. And so under number 2 is what gets scheduled gets done. So when I say that you need the ability to protect your time, what I'm saying is you need to be able to schedule a slot for your Mary Kay business, however much time that slot is, but when you get it scheduled and you put it on the calendar, it actually gets done. Otherwise, you know how it is. A week flies by, another week flies by, and nothing has been accomplished. But when you schedule it, it gets done. And that's protecting that time. And then the second part, B, under that, is that your family can prepare and support you. When you protect time for your business, your family can prepare and they can support you. Your husband knows, okay, Tuesday night is going to be her Mary Kay night. And so I've got dinner, I've got kids getting to bed, and he can prepare for it emotionally, mentally. You guys can be planned. He can support you because he knows versus, hey, I really need to slip away right now. Or, hey, so I was thinking maybe tomorrow I could do a party. Try, not that there's not some flex, but try to go ahead and determine times, plan them out, and then let your husband know, let him weigh in on it so that he's in the loop. And then he can be supportive and he can be excited. And then the third thing that you do need in order to work with time in the Mary Kay world is your ability to prioritize. An ability to prioritize. Something has to win. And something will win. So you can decide that at this time, on this day, Mary Kay wins, or you can let other people decide for you. You can let everything be important instead of certain things being important. But it is your choice, and it is something you can learn. And in Mary Kay, in the way that we operate, we teach that your faith comes first, your family comes second, and your work comes third. And that would be your other JOB, and then of course Mary Kay in there. So as we talk about business and you grow, I will never say, Mary Kay supersedes your faith time or it supersedes your family time. But everything gets its time. And you get to decide. You get to be the one to plan that. So let's get into some details of how do we actually do these things? How do we protect our time? How do we prioritize? How do we plan for this? Sometimes I think people mistakenly think, well, because you're booking appointments, you just have to work on everyone else's time and do whatever they want you to do. No. That actually takes away your credibility because people think, oh, she's free all the time. I'll just change. I'll just cancel. It's really good to be structured and to let people know that you're structured. And then secondly, you need to know that you can live the life that you design. And by deciding on time frames and honoring those, you know that you're in charge of your days and your evenings and your time. So, what we're going to do is kind of look at how do we do that? How do you start working on that? And it won't be perfect. You won't have it all the first time you try, but we want to start somewhere. So I don't have a document for this, but most of you guys have probably, have Google Calendar or a calendar on paper where you can see a month at a glance. And so my recommendation is at the beginning of each month or the end of each month, grab your calendar and take a look at the month. and just block out the big stuff. Are there birthdays? Are there trips planned? Are there holidays? What's happening? Block out, scratch out those dates so you can really see, what do I have going on? What's coming? And you don't get surprised by busyness. Surprised like, oh, I was going to do something and then I had to do this, where you already could have known, all right, this month's busy. I only have a few slots. I've got to work hard and protect them. So you may take a second, and even thinking through right now, this month, we're halfway through the month as of today. And so, with the rest of the month, we do have a holiday with Memorial Day. I know I have a trip planned for my sister's wedding. And so my month is starting to actually wind down, and it's, just midway through. Maybe looking at June as the summer's coming. What does time look like? What do you have going on? What are your available holes? So take a look at that month, and then from there, it's super important as we come and break it down. We're going to start looking at weeks at a time. I don't know how you guys roll, but I don't think a month at a time. That's a lot of time, and that overwhelms me. But I can think about this week and next week. I can think about this week and next week. It gives me enough space to really, see what is going on and plan ahead enough, but not overwhelm myself trying to look at a whole month. So I like to come down to a few weeks at a time. But here's the deal. How much time you're going to invest in your business is most likely going to be attached to what your goals are. Like, what do you want to accomplish? What are the things that your family would love to benefit from? So before we look at your weekly plan, I want to talk about your month goal. So if you could grab the document now that says month goal document, open that up, and at the top it says determine your month goal. What is your immediate tangible goal for this month? We talked a little bit about this a couple classes back with the goal tracker, and you'll see that again here in a moment. But it's really, really important, if you haven't yet, to take a second and think about, what would I really like to see in my business between now and the end of the month, or if it's late in the month, now and the end of next month. And it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be overwhelming, but something. What financial blessing would be good for your family? What would you love to see? And write that down where it says my goal. So maybe it's, I want to pay off a certain amount of our credit card debt. Or maybe it would be, I want to make my car payment this month with Mary Kay money. Or anything. I want to save for our vacation. I've had all of those. So that's your goal. And then coming down to the next one, amount of profit needed. If you want to pay $200 towards something, the way to figure out how much, the amount of profit would be $200. So if it's, I want to make my car payment this month and say it's $250, the amount of profit is $250. The amount of sales needed would be $250 divided by 0.4. So whatever your profit number is, divided it out by 0.4 will give you how much in sales that is. So take a second and calculate that on your phone. How much profit is it for what you'd like to accomplish, divided by 0.4, and that'll tell you the sales. So jot that down. How much sales do you need? Then the next step is to go, all right, how many faces is that at $100 a face? Depending on you, you may find a little fluctuation there, but as long as you're working with adult women, so women who are not like just full-time students, but they either have a job, are married to someone who has a job, there's an income coming in, they have a household that's in place. The average for those women is about $100 a face. So to see the sales that you'd like to see, how many faces would that be at $100 a face? So I'm just going to throw a number out there. Say it's 5. 5 women at $100 a face would create the sales you needed. Well, then how will you do those faces? Do you want to do them one at a time? Do you want to do them all at once? How do you see yourself playing those numbers out, and then when? And that's where we move into your schedule, is the when question, because You need to know what you want to accomplish and what is that going to take. I don't think it's a great idea to go into the month like, well, I'd love to sell $500. We'll see what happens. That kind of sets you up for discouragement because you're like, shooting at the wind. But when you know, okay, so I need to work with about 5 women this month in order to see my sales goal so that I can pay my car payment, then we can say, okay, where do you want those 5 women to fit into your schedule? And what groupings? Do you see yourself doing a party of 3 or 4? Do you see yourself doing, a really big party? You already have it scheduled. What do you see? And of course, you'll learn as you go, and you do want to also plan for some cancellation. So if you have 5 women that you need to see, I would recommend planning to be in front of 8 to 10, so that if people cancel, if they get sick, if they get called into work, you have space. You want to create a little bit of buffer there. But ultimately, that's how to figure out how much time you need for your business. Now, you may have seen that goal and worked it out and gone, oh, that's it? That's all I'd have to do? And you may decide that you can conquer this in 2 weeks. And then the next 2 weeks, do another $200 or whatever. It's not in stone. But my goal is that you have a clear understanding of what you're going to accomplish with your business. And then we can talk about what's going to fit in your time. Because like I said, it's not how much time you have. I mean, quantity gives you some, but it's more using the time well and being effective in it and getting results. So the next document I want to look at with you is the monthly sales tracking sheet. And you've seen this one before, but once you've worked through that goal sheet that we just talked about, then you can transfer it to this goal sheet with the thermometer. And it's fun because you can fill in that thermometer as the month goes, and it just gives you a visual to look at of actually tracking your sales. And I also ask that you send me a picture of it. So especially if you've already done it, fill that out, send me a picture of it, because I want to celebrate that with you. I track that with you through the month, and Karina does as well. So fill that sheet out so you have your goal sheet for, as of this recording, I would say through the end of June. You might as well just do from now to the end of June because it's just a little bit over those 5 weeks. All right, so once that's done, now we can move into planning your time. So let's go to the weekly plan sheet. I want to show you this sheet. And I now operate with this exact format in my Google Calendar. I use a week at a glance in Google Calendar, so I don't print one of these every week. If you're a paper person, I would say print one of these every week, or get a calendar that has the week at a glance view so you can, see it a week at a time, but this just gives you a practice round. So when it comes to your time, like I said, when we're working a week, I like to look at this week and next. And I go ahead, and I would encourage you to go ahead and mark on this as I'm talking, to mark out our Mary Kay priorities. So the first thing I mark out is my faith time. So for you, where are the times that you're invested in your church and that's a commitment for you? Not like a special random event necessarily, unless there is one, this week. But mark out your faith time, things that you're committed to. Maybe you're in the choir, or maybe you teach a Bible study or whatever. So mark those things out. Additionally would be personal quiet time. Where do you sit down and read for a few minutes or spend time in prayer? Put those in there. So go ahead and just kind of X those things out right now. Once you've done that, then let's move to family. What are the times that you are fully committed to being with your family? We all have things that we do in our life that take us away, whether it's serving in our church, or it's working a job, or volunteering at the school, or, we all have things that we say yes to that mean we step away from our family. So no one's with their family all day, every day. But what are the times that you know are crucial, that okay, this day of the week is very important for our family to spend time together, or this evening we like to play games and order pizza? Whatever it may be, mark those times out. Even, I don't know if it's morning time, that's my mommy time where I'm all in with my family and I'm not going to have distractions. So mark out wherever those are. I would also encourage you to plan a date night that you can do with your spouse once or twice. every week or every other week where you guys are going to get some hours by yourself to spend some time to connect, to grow. That's just a personal thing that I think is really valuable. I would encourage you to plan that in as well. And then the third thing would be your other job. So mark out your work hours, including commute, because that's time where you got to be in the car. And I know for me, when I first started, that was like 7:30 to 5:30 at least, where I was busy and I was obligated 5 days a week. So mark out any time for a job that you have. Then we can see what's left. So hopefully you've kind of quickly scratched out time slots and blocked out what you have committed. Now take a look. What's left? What do you see? There may be a few other things that get added in there, but with what's left, now we can see what you have to work with. And so based on how many women that you need to work with to accomplish your goal for this month, what time slots are you going to make available for your Mary Kay business? And I really recommend at least 2 weeks at a time that you block those out on your calendar and protect them for your business. Is there room to make adjustments? Yes, it's your business. But remember, what gets scheduled gets done. And so if you really do have a desire to do something for your family, I want to strongly recommend that you block out those slots and protect them, just like you would protect, your Sunday morning church time or your family night. Don't let very much get in the way of that. And if something needs to, put it on another night, move your Mary Kay slot to another spot. It's not having a million hours. It's just honoring your business with those hours. And when you treat it like a business for those hours and you protect it like, being open for business like another company would, I promise you will see results and you will see blessings and you'll make progress and you'll learn and build your confidence so fast. So let's see. So you've blocked out some time frames, and then I just want to remind you that we do have cancellations. Sometimes it's 50% of things cancel or reschedule, and that's okay if you know ahead of time and you aren't shocked. So if you need to do 4 faces each week, I want to encourage you to plan and make space for 6 or 8. That way, when half of it does perhaps move, you're not discouraged. And the serve tracking sheet helps you to see how that does work. You'll be able to see what appointments you had scheduled for each week and which ones held and which ones canceled, and you'll see that play out. So the only other thing I would talk about with the weekly schedule is just for you, figuring out how you like to roll and how your family wants to roll. It's a practice thing. You learn as you go. So one week you may try something and you're like, no, that's not good. That's not going to work. That's okay. You may find that a different flow works better, or you'll learn like, okay, I don't like being busy on that night. That's not a good night for me. No problem. Make it work for you. And then find as much consistency as you would like. For my family, because we have little ones, I do the same night every week for the most part. I'm pretty structured with that. There are occasional things that change, but I really try so that my husband knows, okay, on this night, Mom's always home, or on this night, Jess is always gone and I'm on duty, and really trying to make sure that there's some consistency for our home and for the kids too. So I want to encourage you to feel free to lock that in, and I'm very, very structured with that. So from there, the next thing is to then look at a day, because you can't have a good week if you don't have a good day. Can't have a good month if you haven't had a good week, and so on. And so I want to talk about just the power of a day, because sometimes that's all we can look at really closely, right? Is moving through a day. And so the last document we have is the 6 important things document. And so if you can grab that one, 6 important things to do. This is a concept that Mary Kay learned from a great businessman early on in her career. And he had used it because he saw such an amazing productivity increase in his people when they started to utilize what they call the 6 important things to do list. And so I have it here spread out in the step-by-step process of how to narrow down to make your 6 important things list. And it's something that you want to do every day. So you may not always have to do all of these steps. You may get to where you can just, boom, pick your 6 things and move on. But I want to go ahead and explain to you, how does this process work, so you can print this and you can do it over and over again and get really good. Step 1 is a splatter list. If you have a million things in your mind and in your brain, it's hard to focus, right? It's hard to think. It's hard to prioritize. We feel overwhelmed just because of the sheer volume of stuff in our head. So the first thing to do is just write it down. Write everything down that needs to be done. There is just power in writing it. It can liberate and clarify for you a lot. So that's step 1. Step 2, then go and see what can be delegated. What are the things on this list that really I don't have to do? Like, the world will not end if I don't personally fold the laundry or pick up the dry cleaning. There are things that can be delegated. So identify those. Step 3 then is to evaluate the list with your goal of what you want. What items on it are the most impactful? So for instance, if you're like, okay, I need to organize my stuff, my inventory, and I need to book an appointment and I need to follow up with, Susie. When you think about, okay, this month I want to pay my car payment. I need to sell $500. I have no bookings right now. So I guess a booking would probably be my most important thing that's going to move me towards my goal. Yeah, I need to get organized, but I'm not going to make money on organization. I'm going to make money on a booking. So that would be how to think through and prioritize, what are the top items? What's most important on that list? Or even just to go, what's my next best step? Like, from here to where I want to go, what would just be the next best step I could do that would move me closer to that? And then step 4, as you've evaluated, then below in that little box, you'll see where you can write down the 6 most important things you personally really need to do today. And these are the 6 categories that I recommend something for booking. Would it be, I need to get 1 booking today, or I need to get 3 bookings today, or however many? Coaching. Who do you need to be touching base with to get their guest list, or something, mailing out cards? For follow-up or layering, who are customers that are new skincare customers that you should follow up with today, or people you need to layer with, working on their follow-up or having them come as a guest to an event. Number 4 is sharing. Who is at the point where you're ready to do a listen for lip gloss with them, or they asked you for information. Growth. Number 5 is growth. That is part of building a business, is taking a few minutes to read or listen to the Voxer message that came across, or the training that came in your email. That totally counts as one of your 6 most important things to do. And then the last one is organizing. And that one gets 1 box, because you don't want to spend a whole day on organizational tasks. That won't make you any money. Income producing activities are the top 5. Organizing is at the bottom because it matters. You need to have, a clear head and have things in order, but it is not what will make you money. It is not what will build you a successful business in this business. Relationships are. So all the other 5, you'll notice, are involving relationships, whether it's with yourself or with others. And so step 5 then, once you've picked those 6 things to do, plan them into your calendar for the day. When will you make those booking calls? When will you sit down and read for 10 minutes? When will you follow up with so-and-so? So hopefully this helps you to understand, what are 6 things that I would possibly be working on, and how do I figure out what's most important? And again, it's not about perfection. You don't have to do, the right or wrong kind of thing here. It's just about having a plan, having something that you're running towards. That is the key. It gives you a trajectory. And if the day blows up at 10 a.m. and you don't get to half the list, it's okay. You at least had a list. You probably got a few things done that you wouldn't have, and then you can move forward from there and conquer a lot and know what to work on for the next day. So that's time. And I hope some helpful things for you to just know how to organize your mind and know how to organize your family and know how to begin to fit Mary Kay in. It is a process. And if you can learn how to really just plan time for certain things and step away when you need to, but fully invest and be present with your family, it is such a blessing, and you can build a really beautiful business in the process. So congratulations, those of you who are graduating, you've made it through the basics. Feel free to review these classes, go back through. There will be further opportunities to grow and learn from here. It's definitely not over, but you have the basics under your belt. So complete the vouchers, get everything turned in, and then send us questions. What more would you like to learn? What may have slipped through the cracks? How can we continue to support you in growing a very successful business? So have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks for being here.